bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. This is Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Thursday, December 22nd. Looking at my Facebook feed. 357 days into the new year, 9 days left. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Merry Christmas. All right. Yeah, I thought I'd warm things up with a little Charlie Brown. That speech at the beginning is classic, right? And then, of course, Snoopy skating on the ice, doing his thing. Yeah, that'll warm your hearts. And with that, on this very special broadcast, heading into the Christmas weekend, Merry Christmas, everybody. Tonight is going to be our last broadcast before Christmas. Tonight we have Jon Rappoport here. It's FADERNIGHT and his No More Fake Newsroom live, then followed by open lines all night long. I'll take the Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays calls. Let's do it. All right. Call-in number is 323-825-5045. Monday, we're going to have Damon Barry here, and we're going to talk about his latest production, The Black Knight Satellite. If you haven't seen it yet, we kind of did a little sneak preview earlier this week on our Facebook feed. The Bluetooth stuff with the Mayans, I thought was really interesting. Yeah, extracted from his new video, The Black Knight Satellite. That'll be on Monday. Tuesday, Jason Quitt is here. And, Jason coming on the show this year was pretty cool. And the feedback and the amount of requests about getting Jason back put him far and above all of our other first-time guests on the show, which is pretty extraordinary. So we're going to bring Jason back for a nice year-end broadcast. And then Wednesday, Lori McDonald is going to be here. We're going to do a full night of the Mandela Effect. So get ready for that. We got a great week lined up next week. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. And as I do every Thursday night when I announce to all of the new listeners here that are here for the first time, this is an interactive show. Okay, we have chat rooms over in Spreaker and KGRA. We have Twitter. And Twitter has evolved into this thing we call the sandbox. That is hashtag F2B. And if you are new and you hear me talking about this, which is cool, and then you go and get a Twitter account for the first time, which is also cool, or you're already on Twitter and you're following us, that's great too. But go and get TweetDeck. Go and download it. It's simple. It's a Twitter product. Go over to Twitter, download TweetDeck. and then come back and visit us. Open up TweetDeck and just you're going to get columns going. And it may seem intimidating at first, and it's really not. It's uber simple and fun. Okay? So just come back over to us, hashtag F2B, and post just, hey, I'm here. And of course, do at J Church Radio so everybody can see you. And hashtag F2B in your little comment. I'm here. How do I get things set up? And one of the Fadernauts will come to your rescue. But I assure you that once you get TweetDeck and once you get it installed and you get your columns set up, hashtag F2B, hashtag F2BQ, a column for you, you'll see that TweetDeck runs automatically. You don't have to refresh, click on notifications. You don't have to do anything. And then you're off and running. And you'll see now what the sandbox really is. And get involved with the conversations and the other Fadernauts. It's warm, it's fuzzy, it's cool. Come and hang out with all of us. And when you hear me say, we do, 1,000 tweets, 2,000 tweets a night, the Fadernauts are all over this. Twitter and the Twitterverse and what we do with that in line with this show, live in real time, is extraordinary. Come over and experience it with us. Just download TweetDeck and come over and hang out. You can email throughout the show, as in every show, which is Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Any questions or comments during the show tonight? Hashtag F2BQ. First question of the night popped up. Could the Mandela effect becoming prominent be from the Mandela effect? Of course. Wouldn't that be the entire reason for it? Although, great question. Yeah, man, look at F2BQ. And F2B, thank you for all of the dancing gifts. Everything is good. We are off and running on this Thursday night. I'm in the chair, coffee brewed, ready to go. The lights are down. The bunker is dark. All right. Happy holidays from us and all of our sponsors. Please visit all of them for great gift-giving ideas. All of the banners are over at jimmychurchradio.com. It's very simple. Every banner has got a promo code on it. Use it and go and visit our sponsors. It's how this show is. All right. Life Change Tea. Go right now. GetTheTea.com. I just posted over on Facebook my collection of droppers. I have them right here. I did 2 series of drops today. Just love it. It's the taste. I can't get enough of it. GetTheTea.com. I am using moringa extract drops, olive leaf extract drops, vitamin C drops. I do the Alley C and I do colostrum and the tea every single day. And so do pretty much everybody that I know. Use the promo code Jimmy when you order either online or over the phone. You're going to get free shipping. Also, River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. F2B blend is the promo code. You're going to get 15% off of your order. Truly the best coffee in the world. There's no question about that. Studio Dome, their Fadernight special. 2 SBB2 speakers, a high-fidelity wireless stereo Bluetooth system. Promo code JCRTWS. The banners are over at Jimmy Church Radio. Also, Zipa. Quit snoring today. Right now. I did, and I am. Just go to the banner right now over at jimmychurchradio.com. ZYPPAH.com. That's all you got to do. And it works. It really, really does. Okay. The first big conference of the season is coming up, the Conscious Life Expo, February 10th through the 13th at the LAX Hilton right here in Los Angeles, California. We'll be broadcasting Fade to Black from the Plaza Ballroom. And that'll be on Friday night. And our guest we'll have David Wilcock, Corey Good, Dolan, Linda Moulton Howe, David Hatcher Childress, George Norrie will be broadcasting that night. But Mike Barra, Nassim Haramain, Laurie McDonald, Jason Martell, Sean Stone, William Henry, Daniel Sheehan, Whitley Strieber, Daniel Brinkley, Laura Eisenhower, Del Bigtree, Lisa Garr. Come and hang out with us. And then on Saturday, I'll be doing the Ancient Aliens panel live on Saturday morning. So come and hang out with us. It is one of the biggest conferences of the year, and it's kicking off this February. The banners, tickets, and info are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get this show cracking. It's Thursday night, man. Alex, is that really your Harley? Holy crap, look at that. That's my kind of bike right there. Hey, Rick Sinnott, look at this. We talk Harleys all the time. I'm shopping, right? That right there, I would ride that. I wouldn't even do anything to it. That bike right there, Alex, is, man, that's going to get a retweet right now. That's what I'm talking about. Really, that's your bike. That's a sled right there, man. That's a good-looking bike. Did you build that yourself? Did you buy it that way? I would love to know. That is just awesome. All right. Where am I? Today, happy birthday to Ralph Fiennes is 54. He's turned into quite the actor, hasn't he? Dina Meyer today is 48. And Dina played Private Dizzy Flores in Starship Troopers. That's who she is. She'll always make the cut. And also today, Cheap Tricks, Rick Nielsen is 67. Happy birthday, Rick. Our dead guys' birthdays today are Maurice and Robin Gibb. 1949 to 2003 and 2012. Maurice died at the age of 53 and Robin at the age of 62. Together, they were two-thirds, with Barry Gibb, of the Bee Gees. So I started to, now everybody's posting pictures of their Harleys. Okay, so Justin, is that you, Justin? Got a sporty? Is that what that is? That's nice. That's pretty cool, actually. All right, Fadernauts, post pictures of your Harleys. There you go. I want to see them. I want to see what you guys are riding around on. Let me see your Harleys. All right, the Bee Gees. So today I went through, and I'm sure it was driving Rita crazy. I just went through a Bee Gees song list today and was listening to stuff. And I was just, started to write these down as I was working today, and it started to blow my mind. I don't know which way to go. How can you mend a broken heart? Staying alive. I started a joke. How deep is your love? Night fever. To love somebody. Too much heaven. You should be dancing. Jive talking. More than a woman. I've got to get a message to you. Nights on Broadway. Lonely days. Tragedy. If I can't have you. Love so right. And I'll throw in Run to Me just to make sure you recognize. That's right. Every hardcore, self-respecting OG metal guy like myself will tell you how great the Bee Gees were. Seriously. The best. Happy birthday, Maurice and Robin Gibb. Fraternal twins, just in case you're wondering. On this day in history, 1989, the Romanian government falls. Now, what was crazy about this day, and if you go back and watch the video of this tremendous day, Ceausescu is giving a speech, right? And there's this throng, a couple of 100,000, right, in front of him. And he's giving this speech, and he thinks it's all good. And then they turn on him. Turn on him. And he splits, middle of the speech, takes off, grabs his wife, and they run to the back of the building, and the crowd sees this helicopter taking off. I don't know how he managed to do that. But anyway, so he splits in a helicopter and disappears. But they were captured. And that was the other bizarre part about how that happened. I think they were literally hitchhiking, right? So they get picked up. Anyway, they get caught. And they get brought back to Bucharest. And they have this trial. And the trial lasts for and it's on Christmas Day. The trial lasts for a minute, right? Guilty. And these two doofuses are going, no, you can't do anything to us. What are you doing? And they really acted like they were still in control. They had no idea. They were literally marched out of the room and shot on Christmas Day. Go and watch the video. That is one of the craziest things that you can watch. 1989. Fader fact. The bigger, there it is, the Romanian revolt, man. There it is. That's the crowd. It was just like, dude. And there you go. That was a crazy day. Great picture of Rick Nielsen and the famous 5-necked Hamer guitar. See, I know my stuff. I know my guitars. Okay, Maria, is that you? Oh, okay. Is that? Come on now. They got to be legit pics. That looks a little photoshopped, Marie. Is that really you? Are those yours? Are those matching? That's cool. Matching Harleys. Wow. All right, where am I? What was I doing? Oh, Fader fact. The bigger an animal's brain, the longer it will yawn. Yeah, that is a Fader fact. So think about that the next time you see your cat yawn, right? And then you look over at your dog, and the dog is not yawning quite as long. Or maybe it's the opposite. I'm not too sure who's smarter, a cat or a dog. I think they both blow minds, don't they? So today, before I move on here, I mean, I don't know how it came up, but Flat Earth once again reared its ugly head over on Facebook. And it was about, Micah Hanks and I talking about it last night on the show. And, and a couple of things came in here or there. And I posted my response to somebody. It's not that big of a deal now, but my response was, I don't poo-poo anybody. I listen and learn. And I don't really debate anyone. It's not my position, right? There's no reason to debate. I have an open mind. I want to listen, and I want to learn. I do keep an open mind, except for the flat earthers. I'll debate that every single day, and I'll do it for sport. Why? Because it's easy, fun, and I'll never lose. That was my post. And that post was done about an hour ago. I think it was less than that. It says 1 hour here. I'm looking at it. And the response to this has been insane. Absolutely insane. Now, I get it. And I would say that 99% of the responders are with me. Jimmy, yeah, cool. But there are a couple in there that are like, dude, the earth is flat. And I think the earth is flatter, and I just don't get it. I don't. And now, it's okay to revisit right now. And the reason why I am is the only reason why I posted the response, so I reposted my response is what I did, because I looked at it and I thought, it's a pretty clever response, and I think it states my position pretty fairly. I don't debate anybody. It's not what I do. I enjoy great conversation with anybody. But when it comes to the flat earthers, the reason why, it's because I truly believe that the flat earthers out there, and I'm not naming names because a couple of them really get under my skin. Not about the flat earther part. It's about other things in their life that they talk about that bothers me. So anyway, enough of that. But the debating of a flat earther is so easy and so much fun that it's kind of like doing something that is really easy. Like maybe, I don't know, playing Candyland with your 2-year-old, right? you know you're going to win. And or something like that, right? Just something like that. And it's easy and it's fun, and you know that you're just going to win, and it makes you feel good because you can win. And that's why I'll debate it. It's not about giving somebody an open forum, and I've done that once and only once on this show. to bring somebody on, a flat earther, and give them an open forum. But it was just too, it's just too easy. And I feel bad. And then somebody posted this comment here, and which I agree, and it kind of, it got away from me. Okay, it's not in front of me anymore. But it was something like, we need to give the flat earthers some love. We feel bad for them. And maybe that's it too, because I just don't get it. I really, really don't. I don't. And some of my friends that are outside of the conspiracy circle, right? They're not part of us here. Just, friends over the years, close friends, where they've never heard of this. Or if they have, they don't pay much attention to it. But when they find out about it, it's mind-blowing to them. It's one thing to have thoughts about 9/11 or have thoughts about Kennedy or have, different conspiracy theories, the man and shadow government. Most people, the NWO and, okay, they can appreciate that and they can see where we're coming from. And then you throw something like flat earthers into the mix, and that's where they lose us. It's just like, no, I was cool with the 9/11 and the tactical nukes thing. Okay, I can go there. I can. But this flat earther stuff, and it ruins it, man. They don't get it, because that's where the rational people, the ones that are just that are outside of the, they don't get it. You can't draw them in. You can't get them involved in what we're doing. They can't. Everything else, man, government surveillance and men in black and UFOs and ghosts and Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, they're with us, man. They're fully engaged. Then you drop the flat earther stuff, and that's where they just go, wait. No, they can't connect. It's just the one thing. And that's why I say with the flat earthers out there, man, you guys are so alone. You guys are so few. And it ain't, you're not, the conversions that you have done, that's as far as you guys are going to go. It's just not, I'm surprised it's gotten this far. But to see this little harmless little post take off and run like it has, it blows my mind. It really, really does. So there you go. And one of the guys that posted here, and I've known him for a long time. I said to him, man, I know this is the thing, and I know you're smart, and I get that, but you don't really believe the earth is flat. I mean, seriously, you don't really believe that. It's fun to think about. It's fun to trip on. But you don't really believe that, do you? I mean, really. I mean, to your soul, you don't believe that, right? All right. Now, to kick off everything, I'm going to start with this tonight. And it's that no one, out there sets out in the morning planning to be an angry bike commuter. The one that rides by the hood of your car and bangs on the hood of your car, yelling at you because you opened up your door and almost killed him, or you crossed into a bike lane and you're making a right-hand turn and you weren't looking. And I get that, man, and that sucks, right? You get that angry biker dude. But sometimes it's the only way to tell a distracted motorist that he or she, nearly ran you down or killed you, because you do have a right of way, and especially here in California. But right now, Uber's currently tooling around San Francisco, those driverless Ubers, right? They've got a bike lane problem, people. Uber's engineers are trying to fix a problem with the way its self-driving cars cross bike lanes when making right-hand turns. And that's not a small issue in a dense environment like San Francisco. If you've ever tried to drive in San Francisco, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a nightmare on any level. And a driverless car in San Francisco, if you tackle that, pretty much you can have a driverless car anywhere. They have 200 miles of bike lanes and a lot of bike commuters in San Francisco. And I have to say, one of the challenges of driving as a human being with a driver's license and driving is the bike lane, right? And it's hard to see a person on a bike. And you look over your shoulder, there's so many blind spots and everything else. As a human, with human reaction time and everything else, it's a bad thing. And Uber has got issues with this, and they're trying to tackle this right now in San Francisco. And if they don't get this done, I could see it screeching to a halt. The bike lane and driverless cars. Scary thought, isn't it? I mean, how can Uber pull this off? Because I know that I personally, I've got issues with it. I've never dialed it in. I am so nervous when I pull into a bike lane. Right? This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. That's right, it's Thursday night. Coming right up is Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by Open Lines all night long. Merry Christmas, everybody. I'll be right back with Jon Rappoport.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. It's a holiday season with hope in the air. Things to look forward to and no time for despair. Health can be a challenge, and so can the mail. So Get the Tea wants to help you by giving you a sale. Buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month for free. No limit. That's buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month free. That's a savings of $35. Where? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Scroll down on the front page and find the Buy 2, Get 1 free ad. Click it and save. Orders over $100 get free shipping. Send the gift of life. Change tea at GetTheTea.com. We have many, many non-GMO organic supplements just waiting for you. This holiday season, enjoy health and Thanksgiving with GetTheTea.com. Want to call us? 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. GetTheTea.com is a proud sponsor of Doing What's Right. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Manson. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake Newsroom in deep space,
which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every single day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day. A new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good to be here as always. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Have a great holiday, folks. So tonight I'm going to race through a whole bunch of stories here. And the common thread would be these are not covered by major media. Or if they are, they're given short shrift and not examined as deeply as they should be for certain. So we begin with what I was talking about last week here, a bill in the California Senate, SB 18, which would in effect set up the state of California to be the ultimate parent of all children residing in California, to guarantee them something called the Children's Bill of Rights, which is a bunch of vague generalities that I read out on the air last week that include everything, education, health, medicine, upbringing, optimal social relationships, all these kinds of high-flying phrases and so forth that will be filled in later if the bill is passed by the regulatory agencies, and that's where all the trouble comes in. The devil is in the details. For example, it could suddenly happen that all children in California, with no exceptions, including homeschoolers, take note, because homeschoolers now don't have to get the mandatory load of vaccines that all other school children in California now must get. But suddenly this would be a right. How wonderful. A very well-known attorney, Rick Jaffe, on his blog spells this out in great detail and with very nice subtlety. But basically, if I read him right, and I believe I do, what he's saying is this is a kind of bait and switch. In other words, in order to make sure, for example, that all children in California get whatever the CDC says they should get, however many vaccines that turns out to be as time goes by, it's going to be framed as a children's right, you see. Oh, it's not we demand this of it's the right of the children. That's pretty nice, huh? Pretty devious, pretty snaky, serpentine. And that's how this whole thing works. And I reported last week that the Silicon Valley Community Foundation is one of the groups behind this bill, SB 18. And they just happen to have $7 billion. And they have all kinds of funds, many funds. And they will stand in some way to make profit. You can be sure from all of this. But it's also their version of let's plan society. What a wonderful idea. Down to every person. And let's start with the kids. And let's say that they have this whole list of rights. And let's fill in the details. And then, of course, the rights become demands. But we still say that they're rights. Oh, yes, all you kids, you have the right to get, 680,000 vaccines. And if anybody says, well, we don't want that right, the children have that right, parents, and you might get a visit from Child Protective Services to make sure that you're raising your kids in the proper way, and if not, we can take them away to foster homes. So that's story number one. Number two, Donald Trump. Let's look for this. This is a story that's just beginning to bubble and emerge and so forth. More confirmations are necessary, but at this point, here is the bare bone of the whole thing. Trump wants to allow major, huge corporations who have gone overseas, who have stashed their huge amounts of money overseas, to be able to bring that money back into the United States. But according to one report, bringing that money back is for the express purpose of allowing these companies to buy shares in their own companies. What? Yeah. Now, what's this scam all about? Well, it's very well known. Companies have been doing this for quite some time now, and the idea is they buy their own shares, thereby pumping and making the price go up, which increases the, quote, value of the company, while the company doesn't really produce anything new. No new products, doesn't increase the output, anything of the sort, you see. So if this were the case, then these companies who bring back their money from overseas would not necessarily be creating new jobs and giving people jobs, which is one of Trump's centerpiece promises. They could simply use this money to buy shares in their own companies, inflate the stock price, make profit, increase, quote, value, and not good. Not goody-doody at all. No, no, no. So we got to follow this and see how this begins to play out here. As I say, this is still something in the works, but we need to keep our eyes on this. Story number 3. You know all about the Russians hacked the election. The Russians did this to the election. The Russians influenced the election. They hacked the election. They gave it to Trump, etc., says the CIA. So an article that I came across here indicates that the CIA since 1946 through 2000 has tried to influence roughly 80 elections in foreign countries. The CIA, not the Russians, the CIA. And that does not include countries where they actually overthrew the government or instituted military coups. So, how credible does that make the CIA when they stand up on their hind legs and they say Russia hacked the election, when they have attempted to influence 80 elections in foreign countries themselves since 1946? Boomity boom. Next story. This is an interesting one from Who, What, Why. That's the website. It's all about terrorists leaving clues. I hope I can pronounce all these names. So this concerns the recent truck attack. A guy named, the suspect is Anis Amri, who is at large, has not been captured. The Christmas market in Germany drove a truck into Christmas shoppers, killing, wounding, etc., etc. And he is the prime suspect who left his ID papers in the truck. Okay. So now what Who, What, Why does, it traces back incidents of this type. Very interesting. The Paris massacre of 2015 November at multiple locations. Saeed Kouachi left his ID card in an abandoned vehicle. I mean, you know, these people maybe are not supposed to be the smartest people in the world, but you would think they wouldn't, I left my ID in the truck, or I left my pay. But that's what authorities claim. Let's go back to James Earl Ray, the alleged assassin of Martin Luther King. Left several items near the assassination site: rifle, binoculars, clothes, the radio that he had in prison. He was in prison until recently, before he supposedly assassinated Martin Luther King. Lee Harvey Oswald, who supposedly killed Officer J.D. Tippit, on the same day that he supposedly assassinated JFK, dropped his wallet near the site where Tippit was killed. 9/11. Satami al-Sukami, ID card found a few blocks from the Twin Towers, miraculously survived the explosion of the plane. 9/11 again. 2 passports for Zaid Jarrah and Saeed al-Ghami were found near the obliterated crash site of Flight 93 in Pennsylvania. 1 passport was damaged, the other survived intact. A lot of miracles here, a lot of connections here in all of these incidents. Raises many questions, wouldn't you say, about, are these really the people who caused these terrorist catastrophes? How convenient that their ID papers, passports, etc., belongings just happened to be either left at the scene or miraculously survived all of this destruction of planes. Okay. All right. Again, I have to repeat very quickly here, and this also involves the Russian hack. This is yet another story. The Washington Post was the newspaper of record that led with this story, which was fed to them by the CIA. Russia hacked the election, gave it to Trump. But, as I've mentioned, and I want to mention it again because it's important, the owner of the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, who is the owner of Amazon and bought the Washington Post a few years ago for about $250 million in cash, boom, 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 has a $600 million contract with the CIA to handle their cloud computing services, and presumably this would lead to more huge contracts with the CIA. But it's the Washington Post, the paper that he owns, who is reporting that allegedly the CIA has discovered indisputable evidence that Russia has hacked the election. That's a gigantic conflict of interest, folks. Come on. I mean, you know, his buddy, the CIA, is leaking this information, and they leak it to the Washington Post that has this extremely cozy and profitable relationship vis-a-vis Amazon, the owner of the paper. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that's that. What else do we have here? I'm working from notes. Yes, here's yet another story. This has to do with unemployment, employment, recovery from the recession, and so on and so forth, because this administration, the Obama administration, has claimed indisputably that the recovery has been terrific, and we're seeing employment, lots of employment, new employment. But a new study from Harvard and Princeton suddenly indicates, hold on, folks, wait a minute, 94% of the 10 million new jobs created during the Obama era were temporary jobs, part-time jobs, or contract jobs, meaning there was an end point. This is extremely disturbing. Also indicated that under Obama, 1 million fewer workers are working now than before the 2008 recession. 1 million fewer workers. Yet, the other day, Obama is stating that more than 15 million new jobs have been created during his presidency. And of course, there is this factor as well, that people who are unemployed, they lose their jobs. Then they collect unemployment. When that unemployment runs out, apparently they are no longer listed as unemployed. Or if they simply give up looking for a job, they just fall off the statistical chart. So we're not getting an accurate count is the bottom line on that one. So look at all those very interesting revelations in this new report out of Harvard and Princeton. It doesn't look at all like this administration in the last 8 years has really led to a recovery from the recession in terms of employment at all. 94% of 10 million new jobs that were created during the Obama era were temporary, part-time, or contract jobs that obviously would have an end point. Now, I want to focus on that one a little bit because although this may be reported by the mainstream, you can look for it and see if it is, because it's kind of a breaking story. How much will they make of this? That's the key. Will they just indicate, well, a new report, blah, 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 or will they dig in and indicate what this actually means? That apparently, if this report is accurate, the administration has been lying all along about the recovery, that there has been no recovery, that was highly touted, not just once, but many times. Hey, we're getting better. Things are getting better. More jobs, more jobs. We kept hearing that mantra repeated for 8 years. Was it completely false? Are you going to see mainstream media really hammer on this? Interview the researchers from Princeton and Harvard in depth to have them justify and explain exactly how they arrived at these figures that are devastating, and compare that with how the administration arrived at their figures? In other words, make a big deal out of it? Well, I would bet a lot of money that that's not going to be the case. Not going to be the case. Particularly in light of the fact that, of course, Trump is saying we're going to bring back jobs. The Obama administration would say, well, we've already brought back jobs, but really, have they? To any great degree? So you see, all of these stories that I am giving you here, and I mean, they're all pretty shocking to some degree and in different ways. These could all be covered by major media in great detail. They could all become investigative stories, in which case what we would see is the pounding of reporters day in, day out, building the stories, making something out of them, indicating why they're important, getting admissions and confessions from people associated with all of these stories to prove how important they are, highlighting them, finding out details about them that we don't know about yet, more incriminating details. But that's not happening. That is not what major media are doing these days and haven't been doing for some time. No, 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 no. It's not happening. It's not happening at all. And that is, my friends, an indictment of where fake news is actually coming from, wouldn't you say? Because context, depth, detail, repetition, hammering, pounding, investigating, bringing more and more to light. That's actual news. Fake news would be when any one of these stories is just simply reported casually and then it disappears and you never hear about it again. How many times has that happened? Where you read a story and you're rocked back on your heels. This really happened? My God, how could this, and then you say, well, I'm glad that, we'll get some follow-up on it. And then you don't. It's like here today, gone tomorrow. New stories tomorrow. And then those are not followed up on. What do you think this produces, psychologically speaking? It produces a kind of low-level depression is what it produces, because people look to media to give them the story on what's happening. It would be as if you walked into a movie theater and you sat down and, oh boy, I was really looking forward to this movie, and it plays for about 15 minutes and then the screen goes black. Oh, wait a minute, we're just getting started here. And then the lights go on in the theater and you look around and the people who are sitting around you, they just kind of get up, they don't say anything, and they walk out of the theater. What's going on here? You're the only one that recognizes that this was supposed to be a whole movie? Apparently so. You're awake, everybody else is asleep. That's the deal. And then you go to the usher and he takes you to the box office, or the manager if he's around. What's going on? What do you mean what's going on? The movie. Well, we showed the movie. No, you didn't. I'm sorry, sir. I mean, you're misled. Are you feeling all right? Are you feeling all right, sir? What do you mean? I mean, I only saw 10 minutes of the movie. Well, did you notice that everyone else walked out of the theater? That they were satisfied? That was the end of the movie? No, it wasn't. Well, you're the only one who thinks that there should have been more to the movie. Perhaps you should talk to somebody about this. Yes. Perhaps you're confused. Are you feeling confused? No, I'm not confused. Perhaps you should seek some professional help here, because everyone else knows what's going on. You seem to be the only one who doesn't know what's happening. You see what I'm saying, sir? Take a hint here. Seek help. This is what the major media do to people, you see. They cut them off in the middle. Do I have to give more examples? You could take any one of these stories here. They give you something, but you want more. You want more digging. You want more expose. You want to find out who is really behind all of this scandal. And the media cut you off at the pass. They don't give you that. They never do. And that produces a kind of low-level depression, confusion, and in most people, eventually, sheer passivity. That's what happens. Do they stop watching the news? Well, some of them do, yeah, more and more, as a matter of fact. But there are still many people, even though they're not getting what they want, doesn't matter anymore. They just take whatever they are given. They are in a hypnotic trance of passivity. And that's my report for tonight. Again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you, everybody. It's been a great beginning here, and we look forward to more reports next year.
Merry Christmas to you, John. And you know what's funny listening to this? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I have never left my ID or wallet anywhere. And especially in the act of committing a crime, right?
Yeah, like a serious capital crime.
I mean, you know, you go through all of the logistics and planning, and then, oops, What happened? Well, the bombs went off, but I dropped my wallet.
Drop my wallet.
It's just like,
and the next time that you go to buy something, which could be an hour later, into a 7-Eleven or something, or a store, and you look for cash. Oh my goodness! I left my wallet in the car.
Can you believe that? We're not going to be able to get our road trip food, as we escape town. Why, dude? I left my ATM card and my driver's license at the scene. I wonder what kind of credit these guys have. I would like to get one of their credit cards, and because who's going to come after you for the money, right? You can go out and right. But it's. I'm being serious. Have you ever? Well,
No.
Maybe you have. I don't know.
No, I haven't. I mean, I
neither
think
have I.
maybe once I thought I lost my wallet, but I found it.
You're right. Yeah, the most cleverest, devious criminals, right? Just lose their ID. And I'm not one to. And we're going to hit a break right here. I don't think that everything is a false flag. I don't think that tragedies happen. I get that, but you know what? Every single time something significant happens, we get fingerprints and travel documents. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody wears gloves anymore. So there you go. Thank you, John. Merry Christmas. All the best to you. And we'll see you next week right before New Year's.
That's right. Thank you, Jimmy.
You are the best, John. Everybody, start your day off at one place and one place only. NoMoreFakeNews.com. Jon Rappoport. All right, Merry Christmas, everybody. It's Fade to Black. Opening up the phone lines right now, 323-825-5045. Yeah, that begs the question right there. Have you ever lost your wallet? Did you lose your wallet at the scene of a crime? When you robbed that bank, did you leave your wallet behind? It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. 323-825-5045. It's Fader Night. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Kat Deely, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Sobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
How you doing? It's Jimmy here from Zipa. Today I wanted to tell you about my efforts to achieve global elimination of snoring. It all starts with respect. Respect for yourself and respect for others. Listen, you think you're being a nice guy or a nice girl by letting the guy or girl next to you sleep and snore every night. It's the ultimate disrespect to have that happen. You wake that person up and you tell them, go to Zipa.com now. ZYPPAH.com. We're not going to tolerate this, all right? Snoring is not okay. Someone next to you is snoring, you tell them to buy a Zipa. ZYPPAH.com. I know that you're listening to these snoring things and you're thinking, well, it don't apply to me. I don't have these problems. A lot of people are in denial, but it's true. Listen, if you're snoring, you got to stop it. What you got to do is get this fixed. Get a Zipa and change your life. ZYPPAH.com.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Well, yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing.
It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. Fader night. 323-825-5045. Open lines all night long. And I was just over in Facebook just looking at this flat earther post. And man, alive. Crazy. Go check it out. It's on my personal page. Just go check it out. Unreal, man. Flat earthers. Unreal. All right. But there's only a couple in there in the thread. But, man, I got to tell you, they know how to dig in. Right? They just dig in, man. Pothole, jumping in, mortars landing all around. But, man, they're going to write it out, apparently. And one of the things, if you're on hold, stay right there. I'll get to you in just a second. 323-825-5045. What about... Nobody's brought this up, flat earthers. Santa Claus, right? Can't be a flat earth, man. How does Santa Claus pull it off? He's got to be able to go around the world through time zones. That's how that happens, man. And don't tell me that it doesn't happen. All right, because then the gloves are on. Santa Claus, explain that. Flat earthers. Somebody just help me out here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live. 3.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, who's this?
This is Bev.
Hey, Bev, how are you? Merry Christmas.
Well, I'm doing fine. I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to you and Rita and the Fader family, and I love you all.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Merry
Christmas. Hey, Bob. Merry Christmas to you guys. Be safe. Is it cold out there?
It's warmed up better than what it was. We were in the -10, -15 wind chill factor.
Is it white?
Kind of. It's starting to melt off now.
Well, okay, Christmas morning, is it going to be white? White enough?
They're saying there's possibility of it, so hopefully.
Well, out here in California, it's been raining for the last 2 days, and now they're predicting rain all the way through Christmas weekend. So that's our version. That's our version of snow, but it is cold out there. So Merry Christmas to you guys. Be safe, and have a great, great Christmas weekend, okay?
Well, you too, and if you're traveling and the Fader family's traveling, be safe.
Thank you so much, Bev. Bye, Bob.
Bye-bye, Jimmy. Love you.
Love you back. Merry Christmas. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah, you're live right now.
It's really good to you. You are such a perceptive interviewer. I really enjoy your program. A funny thing happened on 9/11, 2001. Out of that pile of rubble, they were able to pick out Muhammad Atta's ID. Can you believe that?
Yeah. On the street, right? On the street.
Unbelievable.
I know. I remember
the CIA. That's a CIA MO.
Yeah,
I don't know where they learned it.
I know, right? I remember when I read that, and we were all in 9/11 up to the news and stuff, and I get that we all were there. It was emotional. But I remember when I read that one, right? Somebody on the street found, I'm just like, that right there. And I was still angry, right? I was just ready to go and nuke everybody. And I
can't believe how angry my kid was. He's a Marine. He wanted to re-up.
Yeah, I think we all were. We were all right there. But then I read that, and that's when I went, something smells a little funky here.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I don't know how they get away with it. Bill said he smoked pot, but never inhaled. They're all a bunch of liars. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
But
yeah. What's your
you're
name?
the best.
What's your name?
Huh?
Who is this?
I called you once before with a weirdo tale.
Okay, but no, I still don't get your name. What's your name?
Boogie. Well, as in Boogie Man.
Oh, Boogie. Thank you, Boogie, and have a great Merry Christmas, my friend.
I just love your show. I found out about you about a year ago when you were doing Coast to Coast, and I've been with you ever since. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Boogie, and Merry Christmas. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Oh, man, did I just... Okay, hold on for a second. Okay, Boogie, are you there? Okay, man, I think I just messed up my phone lines right here. Okay, that's all right. 323-825-5045. I'm just going to close everything out and restart it. Okay, here we go. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, sorry, I didn't mean to hang up on you, Jimmy. That was an accident.
Oh, that's okay. I just hung up on everybody just to reset it. So there you go.
Well,
all right.
Happy holidays, man. I'm calling in from the Bay Area here in California. Just want to give you and the FADERNIGHT big shout out and say happy holidays. And
well, you got to give your name. You got to give your name if you're giving a shout out.
Oh, this is Sean, aka Resin Mage on Twitter.
Oh, there you go. Hey, man, how are you? Yeah, first time caller,
I'm doing
man.
all right. I'm recently dealing with a loss. My wife recently passed away before we got married, and it was kind of rough. But you know what, man? Out of all the topics you talk about and the guests you have, I really am into the near-death experience and the afterlife ones, and I'm definitely going through some spiritual growth recently.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And when did she pass away?
About 5 days before Halloween.
Okay. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. You know, it's been pretty nerve-wracking, but I see how all the pieces of the puzzle of my life are fitting together. You know, I've been doing a lot of soul searching the last few years, you know, studying, you know, spirituality, near-death experience, the afterlife, you know, the regular guests that, you know, they have on your show and other shows that we listen to, and, you know, doing a lot of YouTube watching. And so, you know, I'm definitely prepared myself for what's going on.
Well, let me ask you this. And you know, you've listened to this show enough, and you know, every
day.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. Has she reached out to you since she's passed? Have you communicated?
There's been many synchronistic events that have led me to believe that is definitely the case.
Like what? Can you share it with us? That's okay if you don't want to.
No problem. Let's see. A couple of days after, you know, she passed away, her parents had to come down from out of town, and, you know, we get in the vehicle and the song's on the radio. First, you know, lyrics coming out of the song are talking about, you know, I'm here without you, baby. You're always on my mind by 3 Doors Down. And, you know, it hit me as like, okay, well, you know, and then we walked into a restaurant 30 minutes later that we were going to have our engagement reception at, and they're playing the radio in the background, one of her favorite songs by another band. And, you know, just, you know, stuff like that. And I've been seeing a lot of, you know, same numbers, and, you know, what are the odds of looking at a clock random times, you know, throughout a whole day, you know, work day, and you don't even care what time it is. And, you know, the number sequences are there, 1111, 444, 555, et cetera.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely there's more to the world and life than what's going on and what, you know, people in the mainstream media want you to believe. And, you know, I could share this. 2 days before she passed, I had a dream, you know, that I was standing by myself holding a bottle of women's shaving nair cream, you know, that they use to remove hair.
Right.
And it was on my head like shampoo. And I couldn't understand why I was holding that, and my hair was coming off. And, you know, thinking about it in retrospect, you know, that's a female product. And, you know, I was experiencing loss of my hair, and that was definitely a metaphor saying, you're experiencing a female loss, and just stuff like that, man. And
yeah, how did she?
You can't discount that.
Yeah. How did she pass?
She had MS. She had multiple sclerosis for many years, and she worked as a special education teacher, helping students and adults with disabilities, and she ended up losing her job because she started getting worse, and she started falling down at work, and so she retired and lost her grandfather, which was the main part of her life. And basically, I watched her drift away the last couple of years, and
wow,
definitely, being a part of the FADERNIGHT community, and you guys have definitely shown a lot of support, and I appreciate you guys being there, and with your enthusiasm and your awesome Twitter posts. And Jimmy, you every day, man, I'm always listening to the show at work. It just gets me through my day, and it's definitely been a ride of my life the last few years.
Well, and thank you for that. But what's more important here, and I'm glad that you have said the things that you've said about the FADERNIGHT family and this family here. And once you are, and you recognize that, right? Once you're in, you're in, right? It's kind of like The Godfather, right? And
after listening to the shows, for about a month, I was like, man, this guy is having guests that I would have in my home want to talk to,
Right.
And it's like the perfect show. I finally found the perfect show for me, and, got an awesome community of, awesome people. And I hope to one day maybe meet some people in real life,
Well, you're in San Francisco, man. Head south. Also, because we're doing conferences down here in L.A. to kick off the year, but also I think we'll be doing the New Living Expo up in San Francisco. We did it last year, and
I wasn't able to make it, but definitely that's one of my goals in the future. Who knows? Contact in the desert, we never know.
Yeah, man, contact. And seriously, man, we'll definitely go out and break bread. Okay, come down and hang out with all of us, and seriously. Everybody that all of those FADERNIGHTs, they're all there. So come and hang out. I'm serious. It's when you come and you're going, oh, you are. Oh, that's you. We're all together. And come and hang out with us at Contact. Family, yeah, it'll be great. Thank you so much.
All right, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all you FADERNIGHTs, and Jimmy, have a great night.
Yeah, you too, Resident. And listen, post right now so I can hit you back in Twitter with a Merry Christmas. All right? And what was your fiance, your wife's name?
Her name was Mike Lynn. Very unusual name, Mike Lynn.
Mike Lynn.
And yep.
There you go. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas, man. All right?
All right. Third swag. Don't forget.
I'll talk to you.
All right.
Bye-bye. Great phone call, 323-825-5045. And before, obviously, that's emotional for all of us. But you know what? He is absolutely right. That is what the FADERNIGHT family is all about. And that's what this show is all about, right there. Absolutely, man. Oh, without the FADERNIGHT family. You know what I mean? And we've had so many of us, because we all go through, and especially this time of year, it's emotional for all of us. And it's emotional for me right now. And we all have our reasons for that. We do, right? We have our reasons, and it's an emotional time of year. So, and that's what we're here for. Come and hang out and be a family together. That's what Fade to Black is all about, and the FADERNIGHTs. And I am just so glad that he put it that way, because that is so true. All right. Again, Merry Christmas to everybody. And when I played, I got to say this, when I was doing that little Charlie Brown thing at the beginning of the show tonight, I'm just like, man, it just brings back those emotions, for all of us. I remember one of my crazy Santa memories was my dad, who's in the Army band, and this is over in Germany and in Frankfurt. So I was probably 3 or 4 years old, right? 3 or 4 years old. And it's Christmas. And my dad has one of his buddies dress up as Santa Claus and come over to the house with a sack full of toys. And dude comes in, and I'm not making this up, man. He comes in, and he's wearing not a red Santa hat, but a black Santa hat. And I looked up at him, and I got irate, man. And I turned to my dad, and I'm like, "That's not Santa Claus, man. Santa Claus wouldn't wear a black hat." And my dad shot me this look from the dining room table, and shot me this look, and I'll never forget it, man. And I kind of looked back at this guy, and I was like, okay, just because my dad shot me that look, I'm going to ride this one out, pal. But you're pulling one off on my brothers and sisters. This ain't cool. You ain't Santa. And I'll never forget it. And then years later, I was going through photographs and at my dad's place as an adult. And I'm going through, and I find a section in this photo album of pictures. There's like 20 of them of that very event. And the look on my face. Now, there was a whole this guy walking through the door, and he had the Santa's bag over his shoulder. Big, tall dude. And with this black hat on. And you can see my face. I was pissed off, man. And so there are these pictures, and I'm sitting on his lap, and I am telling you right now, I was not digging it. My brother and sisters were totally cool with it. Not me. Man, I was not buying into it. All right, 323-825-5045. Merry Christmas, everybody. And I truly mean that. We are, Rita and I are going to be with our family on a Christmas night. And we do it every year, but we get together and and do the gifts and stuff. But that's part of it. I think all the kids in the family are what we focus on, as we should. But it is so great to hang out, throw on your Christmas best, and hang out with family, and that's what we will be doing Saturday night. So please, everybody, have a great, safe Christmas day. All right, now. 323-825-5045. Krampus. I know, right? Oh, man. I'll never forget that. And I remember another thing. I went and I tried to get a bunch of those pictures. My dad wouldn't give them up. He wouldn't give them up, man. I tried to snag them. So there you go. All right. At mid... I'm going to get through some of this cool Christmas stuff, but this is a crazy story that is out there right now, and I can't wrap my head around this. Amid skyrocketing food prices and inflation ahead of Christmas, Nigerian authorities have intercepted a shipment of 2.5 tons of fake rice from China. Now, health warnings have been issued and an arrest has been made. But yes, fake rice. The 102 bags of fake rice weighing over 50 pounds each and labeled best tomato rice were smuggled in through the port of Lagos. The port city is the country's main commercial hub. Now, wait a minute. I know what you're saying to yourself. Well, how can there be fake rice? What is fake rice? It's made of plastic rice. And the nutty part about this is that this same event happened last year. Fake rice. Now, what's going on here? Plastic rice. Are you going to how is this cooked? How do people eat it? What is going on? What happens? The health risk involved, plastic rice. Or, and this is where my mind started swimming on this today, are they mixing it in like with real rice? Right? This rice was to be distributed throughout some events that were going on in Nigeria that were around Christmas. Christmas events. And rice is one of the main staples in Nigeria. I got to say, that's one of the craziest stories. Fake rice, plastic rice. Who in the world would do something like that? Crazy, isn't it? Just absolutely nuts. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Jimmy.
Who's this?
Mike.
Mike? Mike?
From Canada, man.
How you
Mike
doing?
Rathbone.
Oh, no way. How are you, man? Don't tell me you're listening to Nickelback and you just thought of me and decided to call in.
No.
Okay,
No.
I'm wrong on that one.
The Nickelback. I haven't listened to him. Actually, I like about 2 songs. That's it.
Well, you know, when they we're not going to waste any airtime on Nickelback talking about them. But I'll say this. Back in the day, like their first hit, whatever it was, right? I remember going, you know, this band, okay, they got it going on. And for some reason, after that, and it had nothing to do with what other people said about the band, I didn't feel it. You know, it was really weird. It went down south for me. When everybody started teasing them later, all it did was it was an affirmation, a reaffirmation that I was right. That's all. Okay, enough of Nickelback.
Yeah, it kind of went, it was like I said, they got a formula and they kind of stick to it, and that's all they kind of do. So, yeah, it's the same old.
Yeah, what's that singer's name? I can't even remember. But every time I see a picture of him, he's wearing a Nickelback shirt. You can't wear your own band shirt. You can't do that. Is that legal? It's not even, in Canada, don't you get like life in prison if you wear your own band shirt?
Well, it's like liking your own post on Facebook.
Yeah. I could safely say I've never done that. I've never done that.
That's good. So, I wanted to call in and say Merry Christmas. It's been a while, I've been listening, but I just haven't had time to get in and phone and do all that stuff, so.
Yeah, and thank you for that. And we love the great white north down here, and our Canadian audience, which is so big and so, how do I want to say this, dedicated, right? I absolutely love everything about Canada. Every city and town that I've been to up there, I've had nothing but the best of times, except for customs in Victoria. That was an experience, but
well, they can be bitchy at the best of times, right?
It reminded me of Pink Floyd, The Wall. That's what it was, just like those guys looking down at me from the desk with the spotlights. Man, it was nerve-wracking. But anyway, love Canada. And are you ready for Christmas?
Well, about as ready as I'm going to get, I guess. I started shopping about 5 hours ago.
Right. Let me ask you this, Mike. Is Canada as Christmassy as the United States? Do the houses put lights up and outside?
It gets nuts here too. Yeah, we're pretty much like the little brother, right? So anything the big brother is doing, the little brother is pretty much copying that crap, right? Look at us, kind of doing that thing. But it's the same thing, same formula all over the place. So we got some really good displays. We got an area here in Edmonton called Candy King Lane. You can probably look it up. And they got it's a few city blocks long. Just homeowners. They put up decorations and they put out boxes, and you can do donations for the food bank or whatever. And they just do this every year. It's been like 20 years now or something like that. It's running.
Well, one of the cool things about Canada, and I'm not some crazy socialist or communist or anything like that, but one of the things about Canada is healthcare and the way that you guys not only that, but just take care of small business owners or college and things like that. You guys really, really do do And
it pull together quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah, and we should take a hard look at Canada on how you guys pull that off down here. Now, certainly you guys don't spend any money on defense because you got us, so you can dump that money into great social programs, which we commend you for. That being said, that could be one of your coolest exports is a frame of mind and a mindset. But what is the greatest export musically that has ever come out of Canada? Is it, I'm going to give you three choices. Is it Bryan Adams? Is it Rush? Or, no, let's just stay right there. Bryan Adams or Rush?
Well, Rush takes that one.
Well, that's because you're a drummer.
I'm a huge Rush fan. I studied Neil ever since I was like, what's this? And I started going, holy moly. So, yeah, I studied him from the beginning.
What about Bryan Adams, man?
Well, he's got that. He went too lovely dovey. Have you heard his new stuff? Oh my God! So like, it's like, oh yeah, no, this ain't working for me. When he had, like Summer '69 and such, that was all right, pretty good stuff.
Right.
But you go back a few years earlier when there was the Guess Who, right? They had some.
Oh man, hey man, Burton Cummings, one of the great singers ever in the history of the world, right there.
And then never mind now, we got some really killer actors all over your theater. So we got some wicked talent up here.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, get off the speakerphone. You're starting to muffle.
No, I'm not on the speakerphone. I'm actually in my bathroom. My PC's playing the sound over there in the other room.
Oh, that's what's going on. Okay, so it's the bathroom reverb effect. Okay. Well,
yes. How's this?
Yeah, well, it's a little better. But we can't forget Bachman Turner Overdrive, man. Randy Bachman.
Yeah, there's a lot of good music that came out of Canada, I think.
Everybody's saying Rush. Everybody's making fun of me with the Bryan. I like Bryan Adams, man. Bryan Adams.
Well, he went too artsy, too love story thing. He had when he killed it with with those innuendos and was saying a bunch of things. That's where the good stuff was. But lately it's sappy.
Yeah. Nothing's ever going to top side one of 2112. That's it.
Ooh. I just listened to that about a week ago, actually.
I know, right? Nothing else.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Mike, and be safe out there. I got to get to a commercial break. Thank you so much, brother.
Okay, take care, everybody. Have a good night, Jimmy.
Thank you. Mike Rathbone, everybody, from Canada, calling in. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Side 1, 2112. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
You get a Zeepa. You get a Zeepa, you hear me?
What's the name when you snort? It's Zeepa, Zeepa. It's the thing we're craving for. It's Zeepa, Zeepa. You can't sleep all night. Zeepa, Zeepa. And wake up feeling right. It's Zeepa, Zeepa. Makes me love my husband more, 'cause he no longer snores. Zeepa, Zeepa, it's Zeepa, Zeepa.
Zeepa's different than any other device because it actually works. A lot of these other devices, they just bring the jaw forward. That's it. However, the thing that makes Zeepa different, it stabilizes the tongue, basically, with this elastic band. But right here, Jimmy's telling you that this is a unique device. Go to Zeepa now, buy it, and stop the snoring. Get a Zeepa, ZYPPAH.com. Zeepa.com. That's ZYPPAH.com.
Oh, fall. My favorite time of year. Cooler temperatures and, well, let's be honest, layers. Lots and lots of layers. Look, I get it. We all have that favorite hoodie. Matter of fact, I've got a few favorite hoodies. You should wear yours. Enjoy it. I do. But I stay focused on my health year-round, and for me, I take Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. I eat right, control my portion sizes, still maintain a commitment to regular fitness, and I get plenty of rest, and I take Nature's Youth RSF. It's okay to cover up your beach body for a few months, but don't just forget about it. Nature's Youth understands exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products, and Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain peak performance levels and fight the aging process. So layer up and get started today with Nature's Youth RSF. nature'syouth.com. Simple to use, even simpler to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black, Thursday night. Merry Christmas, everybody. 323-825-5045. Open line. So, this is a Christmas show, and I get that. So I do. One of the things I want to hear from you guys is I want your favorite Christmas songs. Everybody, I hear different talk shows in the car when I'm riding around and listen to talk radio when I'm at home or in the bunker. I'm not doing that, but I do when I'm riding around in the car. And I hear that question go out, right? I was like, man, that just sounds so... But it's true. What's your favorite Christmas song? Favorite Christmas music? The other night when I was over at Coast on Saturday, it was like one of the first tweets came in. Hey, man, Jimmy, man, so what's your favorite Christmas song? And I really tried to put a lot of thought into it. I was like, you know what? I got to go with my gut on this. And I did Twisted Sister. Oh, come all ye faithful. But, favorite Christmas music, because when it comes to Charlie Brown Christmas, I get there. The Christmas song, Nat King Cole, Mel Torme wrote it. Is great. And I have a few others, and also I like lots of instrumentals of those stuff too. But Rob Halford did a really good version, a really good Christmas album actually too as well. So there's that. But then again, I got to know, for those flat earthers out there, explain to me Santa Claus. Santa Claus. You get past that, and you might be able to go up the rung of flat earthers, the ladder. You'll get off of the ground. You've leaned the ladder up against the house, right? And you've stepped off the backyard under the first rung of the ladder. If you can explain to me Santa Claus, I dare you. I dare you. All right. Here we go. Here's another Christmas gift for you right now. In a landmark ruling, its first major post-referendum judgment involving the UK, the court ruled that the British government is breaking the law by collecting all of their citizens' internet and phone call records, then opening those up to freely for everybody to go willy-nilly to hundreds of organizations and agencies. This was a challenge that was brought by Labour Deputy Leader Tom Watson and initially Brexit Minister David Davis and represented by Liberty to the Data Retention and Investigatory Powers Act, otherwise known as DRIPA, a temporary emergency law covering state surveillance, rushed on to the statute books in a matter of days back in 2014. Now, DRIPA expires in a few days on the 31st of December, New Year's Eve. So why does any of this matter? Because a new law, which I talked about last week, the Investigatory Powers Act, has been passed to replace it. Think of it as, like the Death Star of surveillance laws. It's huge and capable of doing massive damage, right? It replicates all the same powers found unlawful yesterday, but it goes much further. It forces service providers to generate and store records of all Internet histories, every site visited, every app opened, every piece of software downloaded in the United Kingdom. Merry Christmas. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. I just love your show, man. It's awesome. Corey from Oklahoma. I've called in a few times here recently.
Hi,
all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Corey. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too. I missed the first part of the show. I'm sorry about that. I had some stuff going on with family, but
it's Christmas,
really
man. It's Christmas. Go hang out with your family. So, yeah, I get that. I get that.
Absolutely. But I've really been intrigued since you had David on, Wilcox. And I've been researching this, the Antarctic mysteries that are going on down there. I've kind of gotten into this for you mentioned the flat earthers, which is, look, man, that's just nuts. If you think the earth is flat,
right.
That's just nuts.
Right.
But if you research a little bit about Admiral Byrd and, his expeditions down there from the late 30s into the 40s in Antarctica and some of the things that he claimed about the hollow earth theory, that's just some really cool stuff. Have you talked about that much on your show, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do it constantly, and the Byrd expedition, where for me the official side of it, which I have issues with, but the official side of it doesn't make sense why he would go down with a couple of thousand of armed men when there's nothing down there but penguins, right?
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And what was it that he was expecting to confront? Now, I know penguins can get pissed off, and I know that they can they can wreak havoc if they need to. But we don't need battleships, right? We don't need an armed flotilla to go down there. That's where things get a little bit smelly to me. We know that the Germans have been going down there constantly.
Yep.
We know that the Germans went down, flew over Antarctica, and dropped New Swaziland, right? Dropped flags out of
They were charting it, actually.
That's right.
They were charting the whole territory.
Right. Dropping thousands of flags out the window, right, of planes so they could plant a flag on Antarctica and start the New Swaziland. And this is all fact. This is a conjecture. This isn't conspiracy theory. All of this went down. And so what made the Germans do that? Now, of course, there's all kinds of stories, right? But they were certainly motivated enough. And the submarines were going down there. There was lots of provisions. And when you've got a war going on up in the north, you don't need to be doing that in the south unless there was a reason to. And then in 1947, the timing of I know I'm going on and on about this, but
it's great. I want to hear it.
The timing of everything that went down in 1947 is strange beyond words. Strange. We had lots of things that happened. Everything from Roswell and the transistor, right? And with Bell Labs, you had Admiral Byrd and what was going on in Antarctica. We had the first sightings of UFOs with Kenneth Arnold up in and Maury Island up in Seattle. We had just at 1947, we had the CIA being created and the Securities Act being done and everything that was all of these seminal events worldwide. all happened in 1947. Not everything, but if you look at 1947 specifically, it was a crazy year. It was
Right.
nuts. So I enjoy the research, but I just think that something went down. Something was going down, and we're getting
all those
closer.
things kind of happened after the research started in Antarctica. Really, 1947. That was about 3 to 4 years after people were really down there charting the territory. Byrd goes down there. Whatever they found, they kind of just quit on it, and then everything started to explode in 47.
Well, when Byrd,
like it all ties together.
yeah, and Byrd did that famous quote, man, in that newspaper in South America. That famous quote, which was, "Hey, check this out, man. They got stuff that will go pole to pole, right?" And it's just like, wait a minute, something scared the crap out of them. And was it flying saucer technology? Was it the Germans with that technology? Was it ET with that technology? Was it the Blue Avians? Was it the Dracos? Was it, something off planet? Was it somebody living inside of the Earth? Is it the original Atlanteans that are still alive when I don't know. But something scared the crap out of them.
That what was down there, in his words, basically what was down there that nations would fight over in the future.
Right.
I mean, he is on record as of saying that.
Right.
So it's just crazy, all the stuff that, and it's been so secretive. Nothing's ever been charted out. The North Pole, we've got stuff everywhere. They drill down up there. We've got bore samples going down thousands of feet. What do we have from Antarctica? Nothing.
Yep.
You can't even see it from space, really, is what I'm finding out now.
Well, and then did you hear about Obama this week signed a new non-exploration pact that if that's it, no exploration or drilling of any kind in or around Antarctica. Now,
I did. How convenient.
Yeah. Now, I don't mind the non-drilling part because we don't need any more oil, right? We don't need it. But it was the and exploration part that raised my eyebrow. Okay, you could just say no drilling, man. No drilling, no commercial drilling. We don't need any more oil, no drilling. But to tag on the exploration part on it, what does that mean?
Exactly.
As a company, as a corporation, if my company is big enough to afford to lease a boat or buy a boat or just go down and check it out and let's just go see what's going on. We can't do that. Right? That felt weird.
And the United States does not. That's not a territory of the U.S. or the UN. So how? That's not even legal, really.
Yeah, it felt a little strange.
Doesn't sound like.
Yeah, felt a little strange, and that whole John Kerry going down there, and the thing with Buzz Aldrin, which was like a week apart or 2 weeks apart, that felt a little bit funky. I've never heard about another Secretary of State going down to Antarctica. As far as I know, I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think that's ever happened. And to turn around and have another celebrity like astronaut, celebrity, Buzz Aldrin's a celebrity, to have him go down there so close behind, it just felt strange, without any real answers. He was.
What about the high priest from Russia?
Right.
Down there?
Yeah, throw that into the mix.
That's incredible. There is a 0% reason for him to go down there.
Right.
To bless that land.
Right.
The guys from Russia, he doesn't ever travel.
Right.
So yeah, there's something major going on down there, and it all ties in together. I think it's probably somewhat hidden technology. Maybe a lot of the things that Corey Goode and David Wilcock might be true, probably are. A lot of them probably are.
Well,
and there's
the the other and Micah Hanks was talking about this last night too. David Wilcock brought it up, and it's certainly been brought up on the show enough. But when we're talking about Platonic shift, or we're talking about polar shift, or the Earth itself tilting throughout its history, and continents moving around. The thought of Antarctica being in another place at another time, and quite possibly tropic and so forth, I think is something that we need to really take a hard look at. And if that is indeed, and if that is indeed the case, that means something is under the ice down there. Forget about inner Earth and all. Those are all exciting things to explore and to ponder. I get that, but let's put that to the side. But let's just look at something completely feasible and logical. That is Antarctica being in a warmer climate, in a more temperate zone, where it had life, right? And it wasn't where it is now. That is exciting. And if it goes, if that is indeed the case, where Antarctica would have been in another spot 1 million years ago, right?
I totally agree with that theory. Look, I have a degree in meteorology, and for the climate skeptics and all that, I mean, you can go a lot of different directions with that, but we only have about 170 years of records, for our climate and what has happened since, we've taken those records. But the Earth's been here 5 billion plus years. And then you've got these, and I'm getting somewhere with this, so hang with me. You've got these ice ages anywhere from 10 to 20,000 years. And then you have another 10 to 15,000 years of warmer climate. It's happened over and over and over again. And I think the human race has evolved and gone through that, maybe gotten down to tens of thousands of people at one point, and then we've bloomed up to areas where we are now, and then we've had nuts. So it's all a big cycle. Mother Nature does what she wants. And I totally buy into the theory that, Antarctica could have been on the equator at one point and been the Atlantis that everyone talks about. Or it could have been there 500,000 years ago.
Right.
And been a really cool place with high technology, humans just like us that were, 200,000 years advanced of where we are today. But we just don't know. And it's unfortunate that they're going to try and hide this from us. Why everything has to be hidden. Where we have evolved to today, we can handle it. And if they would let everyone in the world know what was going on, we would evolve whatever they have found quicker and better, and everyone would come together much faster. You wouldn't have as much divisiveness as we have today, and divided in religions, ethnicities, races. You wouldn't have that, because you would have the common goal. You were talking about this about a week ago. A common goal, a common drive, that we know where we came from. We know what was here 500,000 years ago. We've got to get back there. And I think everyone would come back together. But I totally buy into that theory, Jimmy.
Wouldn't it just, and it wouldn't freak us out. And the other part that is so intriguing is it starts to fill in the blanks. All of those questions that we have that we don't have answers to start to get answered. And we could start to put all of this together. It wouldn't, look, there are some religions on this planet that would have a lot to answer for, right? There would be that.
Sure,
sure. And I get
the Vatican would have to answer to all their lives.
It would be, that part of it would be endless. But it would be something that we would have to cross that bridge. We would have to get there. And I think we would be okay with it. And for the rest of us out there that have been yelling about this and screaming about this forever, suddenly we can step back and go, okay, all right, we're not going to freak out and say what else is a lie here, but we can step back and go, okay, all right, we were right on some of these things, and now let's try to figure out the rest of it. To go back and look at Plato's writings and look at some of the Sumerian text and these references in the Old Testament and the Nephilim and the Watchers and and how the pyramids were built and the ages of certain things. It opens up the door to so many things that we can start to look at and get these answers to. And I think we would be okay because we don't know so many things. I mean, we don't. We just don't have the answers. You know, we can sit and speculate and throw all of these crazy theories on the table. You know, were the pyramids weapons? Were the pyramids time travel? Were the pyramids grain silos? Whatever. You know, who, when, what, where, and look at Göbekli Tepe, and look at these other. It's mind blowing. You know, and just maybe, you know, it's so exciting to think about. But the movement.
I think people are getting curious, and that's why you're seeing, you know, alternative news stations like yours becoming very popular.
Right.
People are starting to get really curious because none of this makes any sense. As we've gotten smarter, technology's gotten better. You have an iPhone in your hand and you can look up anything. Well, people are getting smarter because of that.
Right.
And they are understanding the whole world, and they're just going, this just doesn't make any sense. You know, none of what we have been fed makes any, and I need to know where we came from, what happened here. We didn't just drop out of thin air 2,500 years ago. You know, and now you mentioned Göbekli Tepe, it could be 70,000 years old or more.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't even know. There's only, 4% of that's been excavated. Conveniently, now we have all those wars over there, and, you know, a lot of that has been lost and excavation has stopped. So it makes you wonder about that as well.
Merry Christmas.
The war.
Hey, Corey, Merry Christmas, my brother. And you bring up some very, very, very good points. It's exciting about what's going on down there. And it can't stay hidden forever. And that's just the bottom line.
No, it can't. You've got a great show going. Thank you, Jimmy, for doing this and getting the word out. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, right back at you, Corey. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. And now, I got to get to this because since we're talking about the North and South Poles, another Merry Christmas story for you. Temperatures around the North Pole will almost certainly pass the melting point. Now, listen to me really quick here as I bounce and I do this and I do this. Okay. All right. Just lining up some phone calls here. If you're there, just stay on hold. I'll be right with you. Temperatures around the North Pole will certainly pass the melting point, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, in the days leading up to Christmas. The Arctic has seen a dramatic transformation in recent years with significantly warmer temperatures, lower levels of sea ice, and more open water. In November, the average Arctic sea extent, the measurement scientists use to represent the area, is 17.7% below the averages from 1981 to 2010. That's the lowest November extent since we began keeping records in 1979. At the moment, temperatures at the North Pole are 36 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the average temperatures during the period from 1979 to 2000. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Bill from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Bill from Pennsylvania. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. That's why I called. I wanted to call and say Merry Christmas to you and Rita and the FADERNIGHT, and wanted to thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Are you guys ready for Christmas morning? Decorations up? You got your food ready?
Everything minus the food.
Yeah, right.
We're still not sure what we're doing on that one yet.
So, do you do stockings on the fireplace?
Unfortunately, no. We don't have a fireplace, but we do hang stockings. It's just a small family. Myself, my wife, and our 6-year-old, who is beside himself with excitement, as you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, right. Well, I remember my daughter Nicole. She was like 2 years old, and I get up and we had the stockings above the fireplace, which was a gas fireplace, right? Mm-hmm. And she gets up. It's Christmas morning. Stockings are stuffed and everything is cool, right? She's out there, so I come out and it's Christmas morning, and she's looking up the fireplace. And it's a gas fireplace, so the hole for the fireplace is 2 inches around or whatever it is. And she's got the thing open and she's looking up there. Right? I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Dad, how does Santa Claus get through that hole?" And I'm like, "Honey, it's Santa Claus, man. I can't explain that." She 2 years old, man. You know, I'll never forget that. She wasn't.
How that young mind works.
Yeah, she wasn't buying what I was selling. You know, I rode that out for about 2 more years to the best of my ability, but she was really looking at that fireplace with a question mark.
Yeah, my son still believes in Santa Claus, and that is fine by me.
Man,
He's
so
6,
cool.
He'll be 7 in January, and like you said, ride it as long as you can.
Yeah, enjoy it, man. It doesn't get any better, right? It's all downhill from here on out. So, you're right.
Well,
you had 6 years
good,
of fun.
right?
Exactly. All right. Hey, Bill, I got to get a commercial in here. So thank you so much. Merry Christmas, and just be safe and have a great Saturday, man.
You do the same. Same to Fate or Not. Take care.
Thank you so much, Bill. Merry Christmas from Pennsylvania. This is Fade to Black. 323-825-5045. Quick break, and then more of your phone calls next.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
You've probably heard about all the great benefits of goat milk soap, but did you know some companies take shortcuts? At Old New England Soap, we make our organic goat's milk soap using 36% goat's milk. That's 17% more than most others. Our bars are larger, so they last longer, producing lots of lather packed with vitamins. And our soap is a natural moisturizer that smooths dry and damaged skin. Order online at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. oldnesoap.com.
Water-based soaps on supermarket shelves use harsh chemical acids to break down dead skin cells. And that's just not good for you. At Old New England Soap, our soaps are made without chemical ingredients, contain no alcohol or petroleum products, and use 85% organic materials and carry the USDA's organic certification. Try some today. Go to oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. oldnesoap.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have sciatica, then you know all about the crippling pain that travels from your lower back down your leg when a spasm occurs. It's brutal. In fact, it's enough to take your breath away. Dr. Zhang's Sciatica Nerve Cream helps relieve persistent, shooting pains associated with the sciatic nerve in the lower back and legs. This natural, homeopathic cream contains the most potent ingredients to soothe even the most excruciating pain associated with sciatica. Stop the pain now. Ask for Dr. Zhang's Sciatica Nerve Cream at your local health food store or go online to trasknutrition.com.
Would you like relief from muscle pain, headaches, and discomfort to sleep better, have more energy during the day, and just feel naturally amazing? Fibromalic can help. Its blend of malic acid and magnesium can provide pain relief and comfort for those who experience fibromyalgia. It helps your body absorb more oxygen, and it works quickly for a significant reduction in pain within 48 hours, all without a prescription. Ask for Fibromalic at health and vitamin shops or shop fibromalic.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious.
I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Thursday night, Fader Nights. Merry Christmas. It's kind of weird to say, this is our last show, our last Fader Night before Christmas, but it is. So just Merry Christmas. Let's stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. This is Donna from Hawaii.
Hi, Donna.
I wanted to wish you Merry Christmas, actually. But what I was going to call for was I don't want you to get in trouble for fake news, because when you were talking to the gentleman a couple of calls ago, you guys said that Obama protected the Antarctica, but it was actually the Arctic, not Antarctica, that he did that protection order for.
Really?
The Arctic? Yeah. And I double-checked it because I was pretty sure about it, that I thought, I better double-check this. And I Googled it, and for sure, it's the Arctic and parts of the Atlantic, actually, by Alaska.
Oh, well, when I did the report, which I broke that story here, that's Mandela effect. That's Mandela effect right there. That's Mandela effect coming into play. I could have sworn that was Antarctica.
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird sometimes. I have, today, I get an email from a girl that I knew from, 30 years ago on Maui. And she had emailed me and said, hi, and I remembered her name. And then we didn't get in touch, and she emails me again, and I got it today, and it said, I want to thank you for that Christmas we spent on the beach on Oahu, this was from Maui, and I don't ever remember seeing her here. She was talking about it like it happened, and I'm going, wow, that did not happen in my mind. So I've got to double check on that. Either that or she's confusing me with somebody else, but it was like she was so positive.
Right.
I was afraid to say I don't remember that. I just was like, oh yeah, that was great.
Well, we'll be doing a full Mandela Effect show next Wednesday with Lori McDonald.
Oh, I'll be listening. Do you know what day?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay,
yep.
I'll be listening in on that one.
Yeah, Wednesday
sure.
night. All right, Donna.
But it was the Arctic for sure.
Thank you for that,
okay.
And Merry Christmas to you.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy. This is Space Cowboy Josh from Texas.
Hey, Josh. How are you, man? Merry Christmas.
Police Navidad.
Yeah, you got it, brother. You got it.
Yeah. Doing good, man. Big family planned, and can't wait, man. We do have a fireplace. We do have stockings.
Right.
Saint Nick has got about as many names as Beelzebub.
What's that? Beelzebub?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Santa Claus.
Okay.
He's got so many names, Saint Nick. I can't think of them. But anyway, I can tell you which one you want to hear about, Rice or near-death experience.
Okay, you give me, I've got 80 million calls lined up here, so give me the shortest.
I'll make it quick.
Yeah, give me the shortest one.
Okay. The one on the rice. One of the things is that, you know what a honey dipper is, right?
Yes.
Okay. The deal is that over in Japan, that they use a honey dipper for the rice fields, and they go to the outhouse and dip up out of there, and then run out to the field and undip it and chunk it out of the field. And they here in Louisiana, they don't do that. Now they got a problem with pesticides that they're caught up in on that they tighten down. So we buy Rise from America. So
right. Interesting. I can't think of what demonic mind would create that. It's just it's like the craziest thing ever, because hungry kids, right? That's that's what's crazy with me. So hey, Josh, Merry Christmas. Be safe and have a great, awesome Saturday, my friend. All right?
You too, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Josh. Hey, Kay, Merry Christmas. Kay, are you there? 3, 2.
Can you hear me?
Okay, man.
Hello?
Okay, you're here. Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you and all the Fadernaughts.
Thank you so much, Kay. Are you guys ready for the big day?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to make tiramisu for the Christmas dinner.
You're going to make tiramisu. Did you get the recipe from Rita?
Yes, that's the one.
No, really? Okay, because she doesn't play around. So if you're doing that recipe, you guys will be safe.
Yes, I know.
All right.
That's the best.
Thank you so much, Kay. And I guess we'll be seeing you at the Conscious Life Expo.
I expect to, yeah. Probably Friday and Saturday.
All right, man. Come hang out with us, my brother.
Yeah, I'll be at the bar. Maybe Mike Barra will be there again. So.
Mike Barra never leaves the bar. All right.
Beckley Teppy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kay. Be safe out there, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Don't mess up that tiramisu.
Oh, I won't.
Okay, I'll talk to you, brother. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Right on. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Good afternoon, or good evening, Mr. Church.
And
Ben Trout. How are you, sir?
Oh, Merry Christmas, Ben. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. I was just sitting here tuning in and ended up listening to you kick off the show tonight, and somehow got steered into your Flat Earthers thread on Facebook and went through there and read a bunch of that stuff.
Now, was I
laughed out loud on several occasions?
Right. Was I exaggerating on how out of control this thread has gotten?
It's crazy. It's funny though, the comments there. So some of the ones that I read where people were pausing to go pop popcorn because they knew it was going to be a long thread. But it was a fun read.
And I'm looking at it here, and what's funny is it says that there's 84 comments, right? And that's fine, but inside of those 84,
and there's where I got lost.
Yeah, there's another 80 in between. Yeah, there's
lost there for a little while.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of posts inside of this thread, and it's crazy, man.
It really is.
It is nuts, man. It's don't be deceived by the 84 there, which is crazy enough. But it's what's inside. This thread is, I did see that. I did see that comment. I told the wife to go pop some popcorn. We're going to be here a while. And that's what it's turned into. So, okay, let me get a couple of things out of the way. First off, Merry Christmas, okay, to you and your family. And I can only imagine that your house has got the lights inside and out. Am I wrong?
No, man, we go all out here. It's you can imagine here in Northeast Tennessee, right here in the foothills, the Appalachian Mountains, we have Christmas lights all outside around all of our the eaves of our house and the shrubs and landscaping and all of that, and of course inside the house, nice big live Christmas tree and the mantle around the fireplace, and we're ready to go.
Man, I can just picture it now, and just have a great, safe Merry Christmas. And the next question is, when does the season, the racing season, kick off for you guys?
Well, actually, NASCAR. We have a new sponsor. It's actually only the third sponsor the primary series, the Cup Series, has ever had that signed on for this year. It was RJ Reynolds, and then it was Sprint, Nextel Sprint, and then now it's Monster Energy's come on board, and then it'll all kick off with Daytona 500 coming up in February, and then of course here at Bristol, we don't have our first event until April the 23rd. But nonetheless, all the planning. I mean, we are full bore into planning out our season, so everybody's really busy here.
I can only imagine. When I was reading about that, look, I had issues with trying to say Nextel Cup because it was always Winston Cup, right? And that's it,
right?
And so Nextel now, what is it? I'm trying to get my head around. Is it Monster Cup? What's it going to be called?
Well, it's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup. That's what it's called. So they've dropped in the name now. It's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. That's the official name of it. So when you hear all of Darrell Waltrip and all of these guys, doing the announcing here, that's how they're going to refer to it. So.
Really? So Darrell's going to be so we're out here at the Monster Energy Cup Series, right? He's got to get all of that out.
No doubt.
Like I said, Nextel was easy to roll off. Winston Cup.
Winston was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. It fit so well.
It fit so well.
It just did.
It's like Oreos and milk. They just went together, right?
Yeah, on so many levels, it was perfect.
But now it's the Monster Energy Cup Series, right?
There you go. There you go,
man. And how many years have they signed on for?
I think 6.
Right.
Don't hold me to that.
Right.
But I think it's something like a 6-year, 7-year deal, something like that.
Are you cool with it, or do you have a choice?
Hey, man, I don't have a choice, and I'm good, and we're going to welcome any and all here to Bristol Motor Speedway in April, and then again in August. We have a big time with here. So many fans come in, and they camp, and they make a celebration out of it. It's a true party. It really is. Both weekends that we race.
Well, and I guess it's a sign of the changing times. It's kind of like it's one step away from like calling it the MMA series, right? I mean, you know what I mean? The next generation.
Yeah, I mean, well, it really is. I mean, it's just to be honest with you, Jimmy, and you being with all your ties to Indianapolis and everything. I mean, it's just gotten so corporate over the years, and of course, with TV money, coming in, which is a primary income source for us, and then just the corporate involvement. It's really the sport has just changed for anybody that's been around it and has been aware of it for the last 20, 30 years. It has just changed so much, not necessarily for the good, but it functions.
No, it does, and it is so frigging huge. It has gotten so big. When I look back to the days of, the early 70s, mid 70s, when you had, the cars were still basically what you bought on the showroom floor, right? Mm-hmm. And also when Indy was the same thing back then. When you go back to USAC and that era of racing where you had independent thought, independent engines, independent car design, very renegade drivers like Lloyd Ruby and A.J. Foyt and Rutherford and
Johnny
Hancock.
Rutherford,
that had their own unique way of designing cars and their own way of doing engines, and Parnelli Jones. You had a whole way of looking at things that was independent. And then when everything started to take over, where you had basically 1 or 2 engine designs, and you had to get and this goes for NASCAR too as well, where you're going to go to one manufacturer and everybody's got this, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if anything goes wrong with you don't fix the engine. You just go back and get a whole new engine, and it's like a different. Now, but the parity is there, and so I get that too as well, right? But I like the days of, oh man, that guy's got a Chevy big block, and this guy's got a Ford, and this guy's got a Dodge motor, and he's tinkering with this, and they've got different carburetors and different blocks and different intakes and manifolds and exhaust, and that was what was cool,
Yeah, and really, to be honest with you, you had the guys in Detroit. Basically doing their car designs around, what's going to race best in a NASCAR event, who's going to win at Daytona. The old saying used to be, win on Sunday and sell on Monday.
That's right. That's right.
And now it's basically just one single template that they use, and of course they decal the cars up with particular makes for the manufacturers, and really all they use is the basic engine block now. For the different car makes, and that's it. Everything else is the same.
I'll tell you what blows my mind, and if you think about it, this is how crazy David Pearson was, or Petty, or Foyt, or Cale Yarborough, right? If you go and look at David Pearson's car, right, that Perolator, it was basically
21,
right. It was a block. It was a square block, right? No aerodynamics.
No aerodynamics at all.
No, doing 210 miles an hour at Talladega. Now,
absolutely.
How crazy is that? I mean, just horsepower and rubber and putting your foot to the, that's crazy to me.
Renegade, man.
Renegade. And, today with all the aerodynamics, hey, man, we need one more piece of tape on the car. We're going to lose 1/4 of a mile an hour, but we're worried about the think about that. And, Pearson or Yarborough, dude, no tape on my car. I'll deal with the overheating motor. Let's go. You know what I mean? It was totally different.
I'm with you. Hey, I didn't really call to talk to you about racing. I really called to just I wanted to compliment you on last night's show with Micah Hanks. And Micah and I we only live about 40 minutes apart. He's just over the mountain in Asheville, North Carolina.
Right.
And one of these days I'm going to hook up with him. I'm going to go have dinner with him. But I thought the way you guys did that round table, it's kind of a round table, and you guys did a heck of a checklist last night and went through a lot of stuff. And that gentleman's vocabulary, he could just rattle it off. It'd be great to spend some time with him. I'd like to sit down at a dinner table with you and him and Mike Barra one day. Just air it all out.
I'll tell you what's really fun. I can't believe that you said that, because Rita and I and Barra and Hanks hung out and went to breakfast, lunch, and dinner for like 3 days in a row, right?
That had to be awesome.
Yeah, that dinner, we were talking about Denny's at 3 o'clock in the morning. That was with Barra, Rita, Micah Hanks, and myself at Denny's at 3 in the morning, and just closed a bar, man. And
so let me ask you this:
Yeah.
So when you guys are together, okay, so you're off the radio, you've closed down your convention, your shop talk is over. So when you guys sit around, does it just open up into just normal conversation, or do you guys continue talking about some of the topics that you discuss on your radio show? How does that conversation go?
It's a mix, because all of us, whether it's Rita or Barra or whoever, Micah, that if we do go off into UFOs or the paranormal, we are also opinionated that we are able to talk about it in a way that we may not do so in a public forum, right? So it does go there quite often. But then again, Micah and Barra loves music, and Micah loves music. I mean, get Barra talking.
Heck of a musician, yeah.
Right. You get Barra talking about U2, and you're going to be stuck there for a couple of hours, because he loves his music, And it's the same thing with Micah, or sports, or life, or food, or what makes a good martini. We've done all of this. But I can tell you that we one morning, it was myself, it was Rita, it was Micah, Linda Moulton Howe, Mike Barra, Micah Hanks, myself, and I want to say, man, I'm leaving somebody off. It might have been Dolan. Was it Richard Dolan?
Oh, gosh.
But we're all together.
A great addition too, yeah.
Yeah, we're all together.
You're talking about an intellectual bunch. My goodness.
But that was breakfast. So what were we talking about? We were talking about the art of the egg. And what makes hash browns good. And it was cold outside, and we were bickering about the coffee, and we debated about that. And so I don't think we brought up UFOs that morning. and we talked about what made a good breakfast. You know what? I think waffles was a good part of that conversation, and bacon. So there you go. Okay, so
and you have to have bacon. Bacon has to be part of every breakfast.
Well, Ben, you need to come out to one of the conferences, man, and just
man,
come
I know.
out and hang out with us.
Talk about that, and I talked to my wife about it, and it's something that's on the bucket list. And whether we make it out there one day for something, or whether you venture out toward the eastern seaboard and we're able to catch you out here someday, we certainly look forward to it. But above all, man, have a very Merry Christmas to all the FADERNIGHTs out there. I love every one of you. Keep up with you on a regular basis. I know I don't call in a lot or jump in Twitter a whole bunch, but I'm following everyone closely on pretty much a daily basis. So just Merry Christmas and to all, and I wish everyone a blessed 2017.
Thank you so much, Ben, and good luck with that Monster Energy Cup.
There you go, brother. I appreciate you, Jimmy. You take care, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ben. Have a great Merry Christmas, and give my best to the family.
Will do.
Thank you so much. Ben Trout from Bristol Motor Speedway, everybody. Thank you so much, Ben. And it's kind of funny. He brings up a really, 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 really good point. I think that when you get together with other researchers and authors and stuff and presenters, and you guys are all together, I'm not so sure that we do talk a whole lot about the paranormal. We don't. And I've never really thought about it that way. There is a couple of events where we get together, like at Contact in the Desert, the Thursday night before the conference kicks off. There is a speakers dinner where we get together, and I don't know, there's 50, 60 speakers there, so everybody gets together there that Thursday night, and it's private, and I don't think paranormal's has ever been discussed. I don't. I think everybody just talks about their family and what's going on and the weather, whatever. But I'm not so sure that the paranormal is discussed at events like that. I've never really gave that much thought. There you go. Thank you so much, Ben. And again, Merry Christmas. This story broke this morning, and it's very disturbing. And I'm going to hit you with it first, and then I'll give you my thoughts on this. But a photographer has captured images of an uncontacted Amazonian tribe after his helicopter flight took a detour to avoid a rainstorm and happened to fly over the tribe. The pictures are pretty incredible. I haven't posted them because I don't want to give this too much publicity, but the story itself is an interesting one. On the return flight, after he saw what was going on, he went back and swung the helicopter around this point. And this was on the 18th of December. Today is the 22nd. He was able to grab more images that provide clues to the lives of uncontacted tribes. Brazil has around 80 such groups, but their existence is increasingly threatened by a lot of things. And, illegal loggers, miners in the area, and, of course, drug traffickers and other types of human contact or the possibility of it. In 2014, a fourth isolated tribe from Acre State made contact, and some of them told him, who has 40 years of experience with indigenous people and now works for the Acre State Department, that they thought helicopters were something magical or a huge bird and had no idea that people were inside of the helicopters until he told them. And isn't that magical? Isn't that cool? And do we really, really want to ruin this? Now, the photographs that were published show this tribe with body paint and the whole thing, man, looking up through the trees at this helicopter, and he's getting the helicopter closer to take pictures of them. And I didn't dig it. I did not dig it. I think that there should be severe punishment and harsh laws for this kind of thing. Some things we just need to hold sacred, right? And if this indigenous group is out there and they think that helicopters are magical and special or a huge bird and they don't, you know what? Leave that alone. Leave it alone. If they want to make contact, let them come and find us. But we don't need to go and find them. We just don't need that. We don't need that kind of contact. And I was kind of upset. I didn't, it just kind of left me feeling a little weird. I just didn't dig it. This is Fade to Black. Merry Christmas, everybody. More phone calls next. 323-825-5045. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's raining here in Southern California. It's going to rain for the next 3 days, all the way through Christmas. It ain't snow, but it's all we got, and we'll take it. I'll be right back. More of your phone calls next.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my... It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code TSL.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave Moisture Control Units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. Merry Christmas, everybody. Man, I'm just going through this flat earth thread. Oh, man, it's good. That's good reading right there. I took an Evelyn Woodhead speed reading course when I was a kid. And just reading through this during the break, unbelievable. So funny. I can't go into it, but please, everybody, after the show tonight, head over to Facebook, go to my personal page for Jimmy Church. Just go there and read through this thread. And it's expanding. It's ever expanding as I sit here. Too much to even go into, but it's pretty funny stuff. So there you go. Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's go over to Sweden. Maria, Merry Christmas. How do they do it over in Sweden? Do you guys have Santa Claus and Rudolph and Christmas trees and lights and everything?
Well, first of all, we say God Jul, which is Swedish for Merry Christmas.
Really? Is that a direct translation? It really means...
Well, it means...
What language do they speak there?
Swedish.
I'm just messing with you. So that is...
It's more based on the actual origins of Christmas, which originated from the Vikings, which is Yule, because it wasn't originally a Christian celebration at this time of year.
So the Swedes lay claim then to the origins of Christmas?
Absolutely. And Santa Claus lives here in northern Sweden.
They take it serious. Have you been to his house?
And the reindeer live there too.
Have you been there?
No, I haven't been up there. It's really, really cold up there.
Well, it's supposed to be, man. It's Santa's Village.
It's really cold.
You know, there's Santa's Village here on the coast of California, too. You've been there, right?
Yes, I've been there.
Carpinteria or whatever it's called.
But it doesn't quite feel like Christmas there.
Well, the fake snow looks real. And then, some days it's pretty cold.
Well, we don't have snow right now.
What?
It's been raining.
Hold on. I'm more... okay, that's all great. I'm more fascinated with this. The Swedes invented Christmas side of things. So...
Well, they didn't invent Christmas. It's the winter solstice, or Yule, and it came out of Norse mythology. And the story got expanded and changed a little bit as time went on, but it was a pagan holiday. And then the Christians came in, and of course they took the pagan holidays and made them Christian holidays for the convenience of getting the pagans to conform to Christianity.
Well, what about the Santa Claus side of things?
Yeah, that actually came out of Norse mythology, Father Christmas. And then, of course, you have the Krampus, the bad guy, the bad Christmas guy.
I'm blown away. What was the original Norse name for?
I don't know. I really don't know the specifics. I just watched. I did just watch a YouTube video put out by the Viking Association here in Sweden that explains Christmas, and it was really interesting.
I'm serious here. Are we talking about 1,000 years of mythology involved? Longer?
Absolutely.
Get out.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to picture a Viking Santa Claus. Horns?
Well, the Vikings actually didn't have horns on their helmets.
Yeah, don't kill it for me. I've been hearing...
I'm sorry.
The first time I heard that, I'm like, you know what? That's That's some Nordic disinfo being put out there, man. They're doing this on purpose. They're trying to mess with us.
Just to mess with you.
But and that kills the Vikings in Minnesota, right?
Right.
Their helmets are disinfo.
That's right.
It's symbolism.
That's right.
So,
misrepresented.
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of old illustrations here. Wow, I had no clue. So you guys are laying claim.
If you actually go to YouTube and search origins of Christmas or Viking origins of Christmas, or I'm sure you could come up with some pretty interesting videos.
Okay, so ho 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 is like Viking for naughty or nice.
Let's say naughty.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
It makes more sense, right?
Vikings. So you guys do it up then. So Christmas is like the real deal in Sweden.
Absolutely.
Right. And so what's your take on, the flat earthers and Santa Claus? I mean, their argument doesn't hold water once you bring Santa Claus into the mix.
Well, Santa Claus isn't real. And neither is the flat earth.
Okay, that's it. That's it, Maria.
So,
don't come in my show and start talking about Santa Claus. We got problems.
Yeah, Father Christmas is real. I take it back.
Okay, there you go. She backpedaled. That was easy.
Yeah, that was easy.
Now, well, I know you called me, but what do you think? I mean, I honestly thought when I did that little post on Facebook that it was 2 or 3 people would laugh and go, ha ha, church, okay, whatever.
It's hilarious.
This thing is taken off and nearly gotten violent, man. I mean,
I'm telling you, there are people that probably really believe it. I know you keep saying that they don't, they just like to argue, but there are people out there that do.
Okay. And I know I've said this to other flat earthers that have called into the show. I'm scrolling through this thread. It is huge, okay? And it's not going to get any smaller before tomorrow for sure. But what are they going to do when their world comes crashing down on them? I mean, are we talking about straitjackets in the corner with a drool cup and twitching in a rubber room?
Do you really think that the world is going to come crashing down on them? I mean, people with that kind of passion and a belief, it doesn't matter what you tell them or what you show them or what proof you give them, they're not going to back down because they've already made up their minds. I mean, we've experienced that with all kinds of different things, right?
Well, but wait. And I get this all the time. All right? Let me throw a couple of things out there. The possibility of ghosts being in your house, right?
Right.
Okay? Or having the belief or non-belief in that is a whole nother belief system or commitment than the earth is flat and we have a dome going over it and it was built by aliens and we can't leave here and Antarctica is surrounding the wait well, that's a whole nother belief and reality check.
Well, to you and me it is, and to a lot of other people it is, but to them maybe it's not.
Well, I obviously.
I mean, it's some sort of, this flat earth thing has to be some sort of conspiracy-based thing, right?
Well,
it's not like supernatural ghosts and or belief in alien. It's a conspiracy.
Right. A conspiracy that every pilot on planet Earth is involved. Impossible. Every boat captain,
scientist,
every boat scientist. Captain. Well, that's the easy part. But let's stay in the civilian sector, right? Every pilot, civilian or otherwise, every boat captain, any hot air balloon guy, anybody is in on it. Every single solitary person in the scientific community on planet Earth is involved.
Right.
Every book publisher is involved. Every software designer that is involved with imaging software is involved. Every camera manufacturer is involved. Every airplane manufacturer is involved because they are making curved windows to make the earth look round, right? They're involved. I mean, wait, just stop for a second, people. Every map maker, every map maker ever in the history of the known world is in on it, right? Every compass manufacturer.
What proof do they have that it's flat?
None.
Okay.
There's no proof. There's no proof. But,
Right.
So now we are talking about, as you walk down the street and you look around you, right? And you're just walking down a nice, busy street, right? And you look around, 5 out of 10 people that you just laid eyes on are in on the conspiracy. Every school teacher, right, in the world, right? It's like, stop.
So
man.
we don't rotate?
Yeah, right? Which means you're in on it, right? I guess I'm in on it. That's what's really, you've got to stop and check yourself into this reality. Look, Maria, you look up in the sky and you see something that doesn't look like a balloon, doesn't look like a helicopter, doesn't look like a plane. It just doesn't look like anything you've ever seen. It doesn't look like a meteor. And you stop and you wonder to yourself, I wonder what that is, right? That is okay to think about. That's okay. Let's question that. So that when people come to me and go, man, how can you question about ETs? How can you question that and not question that the earth is flat? Well, because the earth is round, first off. I don't need to question that. And
It's like questioning an airplane. You don't need to question that. You know it's an airplane.
A car rolls by me down the street. I don't need to question whether that is a car.
Right. Some things are just known.
Dude, that's not a car, man. Wait, yes, it is. So,
what about the other planets? Are they flat too?
Well, that's a whole nother, and so so
then we would have to be the center of the universe.
Well, not only that, but every single planet has to face us, right?
Right.
Has to face us flat side up.
And rotate around us. So
all the time.
Everything rotates around us.
Right. All the time.
But we don't move, yet we have gravity.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. How do you explain, well, see, gravity, man, it's a construct that the aliens did underneath us. And it's magnetic and it pulls everything down. Well, dude, what about something that's not metal?
How does it pull us down?
I'm just saying, and the whole argument about one of the funniest things when it comes to flat Earth, that, the Earth is moving so fast, we should spin off of it. And how do you explain things not being, not moving when you're moving? I'm like, dude, have you ever driven in a car and you don't spill your coffee? It's because it's inertia. The motion is catching back up to you. It's that simple. Well, man, when I jump up in the air, man, how come the Earth doesn't? Well, it probably does a little bit. But if you can hang up there for a little bit longer. Well, but in a plane, dude, stop all of that. When you're in a car, do you spill your coffee? Right? What are you saying? I don't even understand the argument. You take off in a car, you feel the gravity in your seat, and then once it catches up to you, you're able to move around. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. It doesn't. I can't put myself into a mindset for somebody that walks around completely confused about why water is sticking to the earth and it is not spinning off of it. I just like, dude, Stop.
Marie is saying that she's having deja vu because we had this conversation 2 weeks ago.
We probably did. Oh yeah,
we did.
She is having deja vu. All right. So you called me really quick. I've got a bunch of phone calls here. Anything left on the table?
No, I didn't call for any particular reason other than to say Merry Christmas to you and Rita and to all of the FADERNIGHTs.
And thank you so much for that. And thank you for the origins of Christmas. And
no problem.
I appreciate it. Have a great, safe, fun, awesome Saturday. Do everything I would do. Okay? Just don't get arrested. Okay?
Never.
Thank you, Maria.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, you're live. Oh, did I drop it? Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. 3, 2, 1. All right. 323-825-5045. Got enough time for a couple more Merry Christmas phone calls here. And there you go. Google has come under scrutiny in the European Union. Even as another American tech giant, Apple, is embroiled in an issue about avoiding paying taxes. Now, listen to me. Google saved $3.6 billion in 2015 using a system of loopholes called the Double Irish and the Dutch Sandwich. The loopholes let large and profitable companies such as Google to shuffle profits through subsidiaries in the Netherlands and Ireland, and from there to tax havens such as Bermuda and the Cayman Islands. So, how does it work? Well, Google does not bring international profits back to the U.S. That's right, because here they would be taxed. Rather, it moves the non-U.S. profits to low-tax countries such as Ireland and the Netherlands. So the money is transferred to Google Ireland Limited, where it transfers it to the company's Netherlands account. Then the money is transferred to a Bermuda-based company with no employees called Google Ireland Holdings Limited, which holds the company's intellectual property right, guaranteeing it profits and thus completing the Double Irish and the Dutch Sandwich loophole. $3.6 billion that could have been used here for something else. I'm just saying. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Jimmy.
And who's this?
This is Jim from New York.
Hey, Jim from New York. How are you? Is it snowing?
Great. Just a little bit.
Well, close enough. More than we've got.
Oh, yeah.
More than we've got. That's all you need.
Oh, yeah. Our city has the most snow this year of the whole Northeast.
Yeah, right on, man. Right on. I can only imagine. It's that is a winter wonderland, no doubt.
But Jimmy, I got a personal story for you. That it's a true story.
Okay.
And it's not technically about Christmas, but Christmas is about love and sharing, and it's unbelievable to me because it was personal. But back in the late '80s, I was driving my car through a parking lot, and I saw this old man standing by his car with the hood up. So I stopped by to see what was the matter, and he looked distraught, and he needed a jump, and I had jumper cables, so I gave him a jump, and he had a big smile on his face and said thank you, and I got in my car, and I'm driving away slowly, and he says, but how can I pay you back? But how can I pay you back? And I didn't want to take any money from him, and I like helping people, and I tried to think of an answer, and being, a witty, funny guy like I am, I tried to think of what I could say to him, and I'm like, don't pay me back. I don't want your money. And he kept saying, but how can I pay you back? And I thought quickly. I'm like, well, just help someone else, pay it forward. And he goes, oh, okay, yeah. Well, about 12 or so years later, I was visiting my brother, and my other brother shows up. We're going to watch a movie. And he says, I borrowed a movie from my mother-in-law, and it's a great movie. You got to see it. And he didn't say what it was called. I'm like, all right. So we all sat there and watched the movie, and it was called Pay It Forward. And I'm like, wow.
Wow, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, and then in the movie, there's a guy in there trying to find out who instigated the whole thought behind it. And I'm like, oh my God, was that me? You know? And there's 3 grown men watching this movie, and we were silent, and tears were coming down from our eyes, and and I'm like, wow, this is a good movie, and I watched it many times, and it does that to you.
Yeah, it does. And I remember after that movie for, it seemed like probably for about a year where people were not only using that word, but actually doing it and talking about it. And I thought that was really cool. It did have its effects on society and popular culture.
And actually, I do remember saying, my exact words were, just pay it forward, and then the next person will pay it forward, and everybody will help everybody, and it'll be a chain reaction.
Right.
And then the movie comes out, and
yeah, that's pretty trippy. That's funny, pretty. Yeah, that's pretty trippy. That's a good story, man.
Effect you would call that, but.
Well, so are you ready? Are you ready? Chris, I keep saying that everybody for Saturday. It's because we are hanging out with our family on Saturday. But, of course, Christmas is Sunday. It's not Saturday, but we're celebrating, it's Saturday night. And, there you go. So we're doing our thing on Saturday. Of course, Christmas is Sunday. But are you ready?
Oh, I'm always ready.
Lights on the house, Christmas tree, cool?
Yeah, I got the miniature little fake tree and the lights on it and the stockings.
I still do the stockings, huh? Yeah, stockings are cool.
Well, mostly the food.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about hanging out with the family. That's the most important thing. And especially if you have little relatives and, young ones that get to run around and see the lights and all that stuff. That's just what makes it special. And when you raise kids like Rita and I have, as a parent, the most special, you look back, I mean, every day is special with your kids. There's no doubt. But man, that first 3, 4, 5 years of a child's life and Christmas, it's just so cool, man. So cool. I do anything to time machine and go back and do all of that over again because that was the rockinest time of year.
Oh, yeah. Magical.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jim. Merry Christmas. And we'll see you.
Merry Christmas to you and all faders.
And we'll see you next Monday on the show.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Bye. All right. So there you go. Merry Christmas, everybody. And, I was just watching Twitter. Dude, you keep saying Saturday. Well, Saturday we're hanging out. That's what our family is doing. Of course, Christmas is Sunday. Everybody be safe out there. All right. Let me see here. Do I have time for one more call? All right, let's just do this. Hi, you're live on Faded Black. Last call of the night. Who's calling? Merry Christmas. 3, 2, 1. All right, there you go. There you go. All right. Merry Christmas to whoever that was. We'll see everybody on Monday. And I want to remind you that next Monday, Damon Barry is going to be here. And he's got his new video out for his new production, The Black Knight Satellite. And very excited to have Damon back on. So do not miss that show. And on Tuesday, Jason Quitt is going to be here. Wednesday, Lori McDonald is going to be here with we're going to do a full Mandela Effect evening. All right? And whatever you're doing, if you're traveling, go and travel. Be safe with that. If you're driving, be safe. If you're flying, be safe. Get to where you need to get to and hang out with your family. That's it. And for those out there that go through the holidays and go through Christmas. And like I was saying at the beginning of the show, it's an emotional time of year for everybody for your own reasons, right? Good, bad, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's an emotional time. Hang out. Go and hang out. Do your thing. Do it the way that you want to do it. All right? And with that, I'm going to roll some credits, and I am going to get out of here and get this weekend started. Everybody be safe. Have fun. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmasters Drew, The Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you, Jon Rappoport, for his No More Fake Newsroom Live, and everybody that called in tonight. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until Monday, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.